Hey everybody, it's Garrett over here at Corporate Fitness Works. I'm over here at the Aspiria Fitness Center, and today I'll be teaching a mobility and more formatted class. For today's class, you guys, equipment that I'll be utilizing, first and foremost, we're going to need some space if you guys have that available. For the dynamic warm-up that I'm going to go through it walking back and forth about 6 to 8 yards. So if you guys have that space available, you guys can get that. If you guys don't have space available to you, you can just utilize what you have and just kind of go from there, okay? Other pieces of equipment you guys will want gonna be mat. We're gonna use an elevated step for one of our foot and ankle mobility exercises that we'll go over. So something that you can just kind of have the back part off of your foot off of a surface, okay? So stairs should work, a step if you have it, something like that. And then I will also be using a thicker, moderate to heavier resistance band for our little static stretching that we'll do prior to getting into the dynamic warm-up. If you guys don't have that, you guys can also just grab a longer bath towel. And then I'll also be using a tennis ball. But if you guys have something similar to a tennis ball, preferably something maybe a little bit smaller, a little bit more dense, you guys can grab that as well. All right. That's all the equipment we'll be using for our workout today, you guys. Today's focus is going to be on the foot and ankle mobility, okay? So all of the movements that I will go over, we'll have 5 of them in total, but all the movements that I'll go over will help strengthen not only just the foot, the feet, and ankle joints, but they will also simultaneously help out the knees, hips, because as the feet, they are the base of the body, okay? So any type of knee injuries, any type of hip injuries that occur, a lot of times that could be because of the lack of foot strength or foot mobility, flexibility, stability, all that type of stuff, okay? So it's crucial to incorporate these types of movements, these type of mobility exercises on a week-to-week basis to make sure that we're staying up to date on that, okay? So yeah, that's what we'll be going over today. Kind of the formatting, how we'll do things. We'll start off just getting stretched out, okay? We're gonna get statically stretched, like I said, with that band, all right? Once we get done with that, we're gonna get into a dynamic warm-up, all right? Kind of getting the body a little bit more actively going, okay? And then we'll go over those 5 different movements, okay? I'll kind of also on the thumbnail, I'll make sure that I'm adding kind of sets and reps of what you guys should be doing for this, as I'll just be kind of highlighting the exercises, going over them, what they look like, and that type of stuff, okay? After that, you guys, we will have a little core finisher, okay? So getting everything wrapped up, we're gonna have we're gonna have 5 core exercises, okay? All of that's gonna be timed, all right, to kind of get the whole body engaged, all right? So that's what we have for our mobility and more today. With all that being said, you guys, grab all that equipment if you have that available. And we'll go ahead and we're gonna get started with that 4-way static stretching exercise that's gonna get that lower body stretched out here. All right, so you guys can grab that band if you have it. If you don't, go ahead and grab a longer bath towel. All right, we're just gonna start off on the ground, okay? Go ahead and we'll start off looping that band or towel right above the ball of our foot here, okay? We're gonna start off getting those hamstrings stretched out by leaning back here, okay? Keeping that leg straight here. We're gonna bring that leg as close as we can without bending to the head and neck area, okay? So as that leg gets a little bit more loosened up, you guys can bring it tighter and tighter. All right, let's start off slow and progress. All right, we're gonna hold this for a good 10 to 20 seconds here. All right, next up, guys, we're gonna get that adductor or that groin area stretched out. So let's go ahead and drop that leg to that same side. All right, here we're gonna same thing, keep that leg straight, okay? Pull that leg as close as we can to the head and neck area. All right, we're gonna hold this for 15 to 20.
that leg across the body. Here we're gonna get those glutes or that outer abductor stretched out. All right, same thing. Pull it up higher to the head or neck area to get it tight. All right, we can go ahead and sit it on up. Last thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna get that calf stretched out. So you guys can actually put that band up a little bit higher up on the foot. All right, here we're just gonna be pulling on that top part of the foot here. Okay, and while you guys are doing that, make sure you guys are kind of moving the foot around, okay, kind of simulating what it'll kind of be going through on a day-to-day basis. All right, getting that calf stretched out here. All right, then we'll be done with that first leg, and we're just gonna do everything the same on that other leg. Okay, so about 20 seconds for each hold. Start off the hammies, then hit those adductors or the groin area. Then we're gonna hit the abductors, the glutes. All right, and then we got that calf. All right, so we can go through all this once again. Alrighty guys, once you guys have wrapped up getting that calf stretched out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that dynamic stretch, that dynamic part of the warm-up. Alright, so if you guys have joined me in any of these mobility and more classes, basically I like to highlight that this dynamic warm-up, this dynamic stretch, this is going to be more for a heavier or more intense resistance strength-based training. So if you're doing anything a little bit more moderate to heavier resistance, any type of strength training, you guys want to make sure that you're doing more of a dynamic warm-up that's going to replicate the movements that you're going to be doing for your own workout. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get into that, you guys. I'm going to be going back and forth about 6 to 8 yards. If you have the space, great. If you don't, go ahead and hit each movement about 15 to 20 seconds, okay? We're gonna start off, you guys, doing a walking quad stretch, all right? Here, we're just gonna be pointing that knee to the ground, grabbing that foot or ankle. We're gonna reach with that opposite hand, okay? Getting a nice stretch on that front part of the thigh, that quad, okay? Alternate every step of the way, all right? We're gonna do this down and back. And also, you guys should extend on that down toe and make sure that you guys hold the top for about a second or two, getting that balance. Okay. All right, guys. Next up, we're going to be doing a hip flexor stretch. Okay. For this, we're going to be grabbing that front part of the knee. Okay. Pulling in and making sure that we're not extending at the back, but we're pulling into that chest and going straight up with it.
Okay, so you should feel that glute getting stretched, should feel that front part of that hip flexor getting stretched. Okay, same thing, extend on that down toe, hold in the air for about a second or two. Okay, same thing guys, go down and back here, right, about 20 seconds or so. Okay, nice. All right, next up guys, we are going to do a glute stretch. Okay, so here, we're gonna be grabbing that front part of the knee, front part of that ankle area, okay? We're gonna pull up on both of those simultaneously, and as you do that, you will feel that stretch in that glute, okay? Extend on that down toe, same thing, hold the top for about a second or two, go every step of the way guys, all right? Make sure when you're pulling up that you guys are simultaneously pulling on that ankle and the knee area with the same force, okay? Make sure you guys aren't pulling too hard on the knee, too hard on the ankle area, okay? Pull up simultaneously. Go every step of the way here, guys, 6 to 8 yards for about 20 to 30 seconds. All right, next up guys, we are going to do a walking hamstring sweeps stretch. All right, obviously we're gonna be hitting the hamstrings here, okay, so those back part of the legs here, all right, posterior part. All right, for this guys, we're gonna alternate kicking up that leg, pointing it up 45 degrees, and then here we're just gonna make sure we're hinging down, and then we're sweeping the floor, walking to every step. Okay, make sure you guys are hinging as opposed to squatting, okay? When you're hinging, you're getting the hamstrings involved. When you're squatting, you're getting more of that knee quads involved, okay? Walking every step of the way, 6 to 8 yards, or about 20 to 30 seconds. All right, walking every step here, get those hammies stretched out. Next up, guys, we're gonna get that lower body all the way engaged with quads, glutes, hamstrings, engaged with our lunge sequences, okay? So we'll go each of them, forward lunge, back lunge, and side lunge. Okay, we'll start off with the forward lunge, you guys. Make sure here, taking a big step every single time, okay? Big step out, keep that knee out, okay? Focus on keeping it out, don't let it collapse in. Keep that chest nice and tall, okay? Make sure we're lining up that opposite arm with that opposite leg up, okay? You guys can walk big steps every time. We'll go down and back here, all right? Every step of the way, all right? Syncing up those quads, knees, hamstrings. All right, we'll come back with it. Okay, next up guys, we're gonna do back lunges. Same thing here. Only big difference here is we're just gonna take a big step back as opposed to a big step forward. Okay, everything else still applies. Keep the chest up, knees out. Right, keep that core nice and engaged.
should still be syncing up that opposite leg that's up. Next up, guys, last one for our lunge variations. We're gonna do side lunges, okay? So for this, guys, we're gonna take a big step to the side every single time. Kick those hips back. We're gonna lean one way, lean to the other, okay? Getting those hips, getting those adductors nice and stretched out. And then we're going ahead and we're flipping it every time, all right? 6 to 8 yards down and back here, guys. 20 to 30 seconds. Make sure you're shifting those hips back before you're sinking down. Okay, alrighty guys. Alright, dynamic warm-up is completed. Alright, at this time, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start getting into those mobility movements that I talked about earlier. Okay, so these 5 mobility movements, alright, they will primarily be focused on targeting, like I said, the foot and the ankle joint area. The foot itself, but the ankle joint area is what I'm referring to. We'll mainly be targeting those, but also we'll be assisting in the knee joints, hips. All of this is going to be working together cohesively. Because like I said earlier, the feet, the ankles, they are the foundation, that base of that whole lower body and even to our upper body, okay? Kind of the whole foundation for ourselves, okay? So if you do have any knee, hip issues, low back issues, some of this may be because of that lack of foot or ankle mobility, okay? So we'll go ahead, we'll get into those 5 movements, all right? First movement that we're gonna get into, you guys, all right, pretty straightforward, gonna be heel walks, okay? So heel walks here, you guys, this is gonna help out working on dorsiflexion, okay? If you guys don't know what dorsiflexion is, basically that's just gonna be us extending those limbs, as opposed to flexing, okay? So heel walks are exactly what they sound like. You're just gonna be walking on your heels. And here, this is gonna actually help improve upon, if you've ever had shin splints, okay, this is gonna help improve that. It's gonna help improve that muscle strengthening, that tendon strengthening, okay? So this, and obviously foot and ankle mobility, it's gonna help out with this a lot. Okay, so these heel walks, you guys, okay, you guys can do these, all right, either walking out or in a stationary position. If you guys are walking these out, you guys can probably just go about 10 to 15 yards, okay? If you want to go down and back, you can probably do about 2 sets of that, okay? If you just wanted to make it just, 3 sets, you can do 3 sets of 15, okay? If you're just doing that in the stationary position, you guys could just do this for about 2 to 3 sets for about 30 to 45 seconds, okay? Like I said, this one's gonna help improve that dorsiflexion, okay, and strengthen the tendons, strengthen those, the Achilles and calf muscles, okay? All right, so that's the first movement we've got, all right? Second movement we got is gonna be a single leg rocking foot stretch, okay? This exercise is gonna be a nice unilateral exercise, and it's gonna help strengthen more of that flexion as opposed to the dorsiflexion. I'm sorry, plantar flexion as opposed to dorsiflexion, okay? All right, starting position for this, guys, we're gonna be in the half kneel position, okay? So you're gonna be in this half kneel position, all right? The first part of this rocking foot stretch, okay, is gonna work on loading up that front foot here, gonna load up that ankle area. So when you guys are doing this, you guys can just really lean as far as you can, Okay, trying to keep that knee out. All right. Once you guys get down here, you guys can kind of move it a little bit more in and out, kind of working on that hip a little bit. All right. Next part of this single leg rocking foot stretch, you're actually going to bring that knee down. Okay, and as you bring that knee down, you're going to see that that foot is going to be in a more plantar flexed position. Okay, so it's flexed here. Okay, and when we're in this position, all right, here we want to work leaning to the inner part, leaning to the outside, working on those hips just as much as we're working on getting that foot stretched out. Okay? So when you guys are doing this single leg foot rocking stretch, just make sure you guys are going back and forth between these two positions on a regular basis. Okay? So coming back up here, okay, staying with your foot planted on the ground, kind of working that front part of the ankle. Okay, working all aspects here. Doing this for about 20-30 seconds, and then you're getting into that forward lean position. Okay, like I said, where you're having more of a flexed foot, which you can kind of see here. It's kind of hard with me hovering over the top, but here, like I said, lean in, lean out. Okay, and you guys are gonna feel that foot getting plantar flexed, helping out with that. Okay. So, like I said, alternate on a regular basis between those high and low positions for about 20-30 seconds, okay? All right, make sure you guys are also doing the same, obviously, on that other leg here, okay? Keeping that foot nice and planted. Lean to the left, lean to the right, right? It's all about putting that foot and ankle in that position that you guys are going to find yourself in when you guys are working out. Okay, so we need to get into these positions on a regular basis, you know, even if we're not doing strength-based work, okay, because we need to make sure that we are staying up on that, okay? All right, so make sure, like I said, get into this position, go in and out, rocking back and forth. Position. All right, and obviously you guys, since this is a unilateral exercise, this is going to help with any imbalances that you guys might have on a side-to-side basis. Okay, so if you have specific hip, knee, feet issues on one side, you can just focus on that side if you'd like. Okay, that's definitely recommended. You guys can do that, but obviously if you guys don't feel any imbalances, you probably can just do both sides just as much as you'd like. Okay, modifications for this, you guys, if you are trying this out. Maybe you can't get into those positions because that range of motion in the ankles just isn't quite there. That's totally fine, guys. Modified version we can do here is going to be that foot elevated on a surface here, okay, 45 degrees, doing a calf stretch here. Okay, so this is going to be more targeting kind of that calf area, kind of that posterior part. You guys will still get that same effect in that ankle area where we're getting that flexion, okay? And then here, just make sure you guys are kind of leaning into both the inner and outer part of that ankle to kind of go throughout the range. Okay, so in that position, you guys are just going to want to lean, okay, getting that ankle, okay? For that, guys, you can do about 2-3 sets, and you guys can just do that for time, about 20 to 40 seconds, okay? All right, if you guys are doing that single leg rocking foot stretch, okay, get both sides, maybe about 2 to 3 times, okay, going back and forth in that high knee, on that high knee position into that low knee position. You can do that about 2 to 3 times as well, okay?
for about 20 to 40 seconds a pop. All right. Next movement we're going to go over, you guys, is going to be working, once again, more flexion. Okay. This is going to be what is called a perineal and shin stretch. So going to get those shins stretched out a little bit more. Going to be getting more flexion here for sure. Okay. For this exercise, guys, we're actually going to be in kind of a child's pose position. Okay. So sitting back, our feet are going to be like so, underneath us. Okay, if you guys can't get into that position, that's fine. Okay, you guys can get into whatever position works well for you. Okay, if you can sit back on your legs, perfect. Okay, here the stretch is going to work as soon as you're sitting back like so. Okay, so getting that shin stretched out, getting that top part of the foot stretched out as you're sitting back. And here you guys can just work on increasing that range. And you guys should feel it in the quads as well as you guys start to lean back. Obviously more quad action here, okay, more pressure on the feet, okay? And when you guys are doing these, just make sure that you're coming up every now and then to relieve some of that pressure, okay? So holding that position for maybe about 15 to 30 seconds, depending on your level and experience as far as your flexibility goes. And doing about 2 to 3 sets. Okay, so setting back, walking back into that far position. Okay, holding for about 15-30 seconds, and then we're releasing. Okay, so that's our third mobility movement. All right, like I said, do about 2 to 3 sets of that, 15 to 30 seconds. Progress into a more flatter position to make it more difficult. Okay. You can go ahead and lay your back all the way on the ground. That is perfect. That's what we want. Okay? All right? The modifications for this, if you guys can't do this from the child's pose or the ground position, we can go ahead and do this from the standing position. Okay? For this, it's basically just going to be exactly like what you're doing on the ground, except for you're going to be doing it standing up. So you're going to be in this flex position here, okay? And here you can just drop that range down as far as you can go, okay? So if you can only get that foot flexed like so right here, that's fine, okay? Stay in that position, 15 to 30 seconds. Switch feet, okay? Hit that position, 15 to 30 seconds, all right? And then that second set, see if you can go a little bit lower and get a little bit more range of motion. Right? Third set, same thing. See if you can get a little bit more range of motion. All right? But that's the third mobility movement, perineal and shin stretch. All right? Fourth mobility movement, we are going to incorporate that tennis ball if you have it. Okay? If you guys don't have that tennis ball, or if you have that ball, like I said, the smaller and more dense, the better we get as far as specific locations that you're trying to hit on your foot, as well as if it's a little bit more dense, obviously you're going to be feeling that a little bit more as opposed to a tennis ball, which is going to have a little bit more give to it. Okay, so the next movement we're going to be doing is going to be a foot foam rolling movement. Okay, obviously with this ball, you guys, and with this exercise, you're going to want to do this without shoes. Okay, so taking that shoe off, all right, you're going to have that ball on the ground, all right, and then we're going to want to go ahead and put that ball in the middle of that foot, all right, and you guys are just going to alternate, kind of putting that ball in different positions. Okay, while you're doing that, make sure you guys are flexing the toes, extending the toes. All right, hold it at specific parts throughout the foot. If you guys have places of discomfort, or if you're feeling any type of issues in any specific spots, you guys can isolate those, work on those a little bit more. Okay, make sure you guys are holding, okay, about 5 to 10 seconds at each spot. Like I said, make sure you guys are adding the flexion and the extension with the toes. Okay, and then just kind of working that ball around the whole aspect of the foot. All right, so foam rolling with the ball, either tennis ball or any type of like racquetball or whatever. This is going to be great for obviously
relieving stress underneath the foot, working on obviously those toes, working on extension, flexion, okay? Because like I was saying, you guys, the foot is the base of everything when it comes to bottom up, okay? So addressing this foam rolling, with all these mobility movements, it's gonna help us alleviate any type of hip, knee, low back issues, okay? All right, as far as sets and reps for the foam rolling, you guys can do, just like we've been doing with everything else, about 2 to 3 sets is probably fine. And you guys can just target, like I said, specific spots on the foot. If you guys have specific spots that you're feeling tender or sore or just anything, or if you guys aren't, you guys can just have it in the middle of your foot, in the ball of your foot, okay? Kind of getting where you guys primarily walk, holding it anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds, moving it around, and yeah, about 2 to 3 sets, okay? So that is the 4th exercise, all right? 5th and last mobility movement that we will go over is more of a strengthening exercise than anything. But like I've been saying, you guys, all of this is gonna be connected. So by strengthening our calves with what we're doing here, we're gonna be increasing that foot strength, increasing that ankle joint stability and flexibility strength. So the next exercise, next movement we're gonna do here is gonna be a deficit calf raises, or extended range calf raises, I guess is one way you could say it. So we'll be using that step here for this exercise, okay? If you guys have a pole or something, you guys can use that for a little bit of added support, added balance, okay? But for this exercise, guys, we're just gonna want that balls of the feet on that step, okay? Kind of the front part of that foot on the step, and then everything else hanging off, all right? For this exercise, guys, you're going to drop those heels down, stretching out that calves, all right? Feeling those feeling the calves getting stretched out here. Okay, we're also going to be working on that ankle flexion, okay? Working on that plantar flexion, all right? So here, guys, you're going to go slow down or good tempo down, and then we're going to make sure we squeeze, pressing through that front part of the foot on the way up, okay? All right, good tempo throughout with any calf raises, guys. Make sure that you guys aren't just repping through and hopping along, okay? With any calf work, you really want to make sure you're controlling and having good tempo throughout, okay? All right. And you guys can do that either standing or seated. If you guys are doing this from the seated position, you're actually going to be hitting the soleus as well as the gastrocnemius, the other parts of the calf, all right? So doing both seated and standing deficit calf raise is going to be very beneficial for that foot and ankle mobility and strength work, all right? So those are the 5 different mobility exercises. For those calf raises, sets and reps that you guys can do, I would recommend doing about 2 to 3 sets, okay? And just depending on if you guys are loading it up or if you're just doing body weight, you guys can do anywhere from 10 to 20 reps. Okay, if you're doing more body weight, you guys can do about 20 reps. If you guys are doing any type of loaded work, you can go from 10 to 15 in that ballpark. Okay, all right, focusing on good range of motion throughout. Okay, so those are those 5 movements that you guys can incorporate in your week-to-week workouts, and you guys can use those to strengthen, like I said, foot, ankle, foot muscles, ankle joints, help out with hips and knees and back, injury-free. Okay, so incorporate those as you guys want. All right, I will leave, like I said, the sets and reps are in the thumbnail. So if you guys missed me kind of quickly going through those, feel free to check out the thumbnail, take a screenshot, go through those. And with any mobility movements that I kind of display for you guys, it's basically, think of it kind of like an appetizer, okay? So I'm giving you these 5 movements. This doesn't necessarily mean you guys need to do all of these 5 movements each time you want to get your foot and ankle mobile, okay? It's just like any appetizer. If
If one looks good to you, you guys can stick with that exercise, stick with that appetizer for the whole time, okay? And you can do it one day out of the week, you can do it 2 or 3 days out of the week, just depending on how much, if you guys are having any type of foot or ankle issues or any type of lower body issues, you might want to incorporate a little bit more, okay? So next up, guys, we are going to get into the last part of our mobility and more, which is going to be our core finisher. Core work today, guys, like I said, it'll be 5 different movements, and all of it's going to be timed, okay? And we'll be doing 2 rounds total here, all right? So to start off, guys, we are going to be in the high plank position doing plank jacks, all right? So here, guys, we're in that high plank position, obviously on the ground, all right? We're either doing those jacks, all right, or you guys can toe tap it if you'd like to modify, okay? All right, second exercise we're gonna do is gonna get that top part of the core contracted here with feet elevated, toe touches, okay? So we're on our back here, all right, getting that good crunching motion. Focus here on getting that upper back off the ground, all right, and that top part of the core contracted, okay? Third exercise, we're gonna do another plank exercise with plank up downs, all right? So that we're gonna work on the triceps a little bit more here, going from that forearm position up to that high plank position, okay? Fourth exercise, we're gonna get those obliques and the rectus abdominis going here with a single leg jackknife, all right? So for this exercise, guys, we're gonna be on our back, okay? We're gonna be fully extended, so arms over the top, legs out in front. And here we're just gonna be crunching and twisting, touching opposite foot to that opposite hand, okay? Meeting in the middle, all right? So really focus on, as you guys crunch up, get your upper back off the ground. Once you guys get that hand close to that foot, get that slight twist, and that's where we're gonna be getting those obliques working, okay? All right? Fifth exercise and last exercise we're gonna do is gonna be another plank variation, okay? This one is gonna be a shoulder tap into a knee drive, okay? So for that knee drive, you guys can either hop that out like a mountain climber, or you guys can just control and isolate crunching that knee up, okay? All right, you're just segmenting and alternating between shoulder taps to those knee drives, okay? Focus down there, keeping that butt nice and low, okay? Make sure you guys aren't shifting too much as you're doing that, all right? That's what we got here for our core finisher today. Let's get after it, guys. We're gonna start off with those plank jacks. All right, we're gonna get these for 30 seconds here. Let's get it here in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Alrighty, guys, flip it on over your back. Next up, we're gonna do those feet elevated toe touches. All right, get that upper back off the ground here. All right, we got this for 30 seconds. Let's get it here in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Stop in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Woo. Alrighty, guys, flip it back on over to your stomach. Next up, we got those plank up downs. Going from the forearms up to the hands. All right, got this for 35 seconds. Let's get it here, guys. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, flip it back on over your backside. Next up, we got those single leg jackknives. All right, opposite hand to that opposite foot, meeting in the middle, get a slight twist at the top. We got this for 30 seconds. Let's get it here in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, flip it on over to your stomach. Last thing we got here for round 1, it's gonna be that plank shoulder tap, into that knee drive, knee drive. All right, got this for 35 seconds. Last thing we got for round 1, let's get it in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Woo. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick little 30 seconds off. All right, if you guys need water real quick, go ahead and grab some. All right, feeling good, you guys can hang on out. We just got one more round left to go. 5 exercises here. All right, back to the top of plank jacks. Alrighty, guys, let's get ready, let's get focused. Last round, best round. Let's get it here. Plank jacks in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 30 seconds here. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, go ahead. Flip it on over your backside. You got feet elevated, toe touches up next. 25 seconds on the clock. Let's get it here. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Whew. All right, flip it on over your stomach. Next up, we got up down. It's going from the forearms up to the high plank position. Got this for 30 seconds here. Let's get it in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right. Nice, guys. Flip it on over your backside. Next up, we got those single leg jackknives. All right, meeting in the middle, opposite leg, opposite arm. Get a twist at the top. We got this for 25 seconds. Let's get it in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Stop in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Whew. Alrighty guys, last exercise of the day. Flip it on over to your stomach. Last thing we got, plank shoulder tap, into a knee drive, knee drive. All right, 30 seconds guys. Last thing we got, let's get it here in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Stop it in 3, 2, 1, and stop. Woo! Alrighty guys, way to finish. Good job on the core work today. Good job on the stretching, flexibility, stability, mobility work today. Thanks guys, we appreciate you taking the time, coming out, watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to like it, comment what you liked about it. If you guys didn't like the video, if there's specific stuff you guys want to see, please be sure to let us know in the comments. We always appreciate that. I hope you guys are staying safe. Hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, guys, take care. We'll see you in the next video.